What's up? I'm showing you my stamblade for the Ascending Tides. So we are having 61 points into health and 3 points into stamina, so that makes 20k health and 23k stamina, almost 24k. Unbuffed, if you have 4000 spell damage, 30% spell critical, and penetration 9 to 12k, depends always. Spell resistance is by 13,000. Also physical resistance and critical resistance by 1600. For the food, I'm using lava food, soup and salt rice, and for the vamp stage, I'm vampire stage 3 for the passive that you get more tankiness for the missing heal. Then for my potions, I'm using the Alliance Battle Drop just for the stamina restoring. Also gives you major endurance, major brutality, major savagery, and increase your weapon damage and weapon critical for 43 seconds. Then into my gear, I'm using Caluurion on the front bar, 2 times 100 mace with sharpened, but sharpened and rooted would be better. Caluurion gives you, when you deal critical damage with a light or heavy attack, you launch a projectile at your target that deals 9900 flame, frost, shock, or disease damage, and it applies the respective status effect, and it can occur once every 10 seconds. So if you have all of your gear on yellow, on legendary, it gives you 10 to 12k of those damage types. Yeah. Then on the back bar, I'm using the Vatershran Greatsword with charge. While momentum is active, casting stamina abilities while in combat generates a stack of frenzied momentum for 20 seconds, increases your weapon and spell damage by 30 up to 10 times. After 5 or more stacks, your next heavy attack consumes all stacks and releases a violent explosion of energy around you, dealing 5216 physical damage to all enemies within 8 meters. Scaling of the higher weapon and spell damage. So that means if you have the momentum on the back bar and you're using Vatershran, you should use the more rally because it gives you also heal and stamina recovery while it's active, and yeah, also it stacks your weapon and spell damage. Yeah. Then for my Imperial, I'm using 1 Magma Incarnate on medium with well fitted, just for the magical recovery. Then Stygian on medium with impent. Stygian gives you when you leave sneak or invisibility while in combat, your weapon and spell damage is increased by 361 for 15 seconds. It gives you more if your stuff, or if everything from your Imperial and weapons, of course, and jewelry is on yellow. Then again, up for the shoulders, also medium Stygian with impent. Then Caluurion on light. For the I have invigorating, but could use any other trait that you want. Yeah, we went through Caluurion already. So then again, Stygian on medium, also with impent. Stygian on medium, the legs on well fitted, and the boots also well fitted. Then my jewelry is Caluurion with arcane, also arcane, and then 1 walking ray of majesty with bloodthirsty. It's Jane, 100 weapon and spell damage and 1157 armor for every set you wear at least 3 or more pieces of, so that gives me, for example, 200 weapon and spell damage more and 2314 armor. Yeah, because we're running 5-5, so 5 Caluurion, 5 Stygian, yeah. Then for the skills, on front bar relentless focus, it's like if you stack 5 heavy, if you stack your light and or heavy attacks up to 5 times. It chooses a spectral arrow that gives or that deals 50,211 disease damage and heals for 33 seconds. It also gives more if it hits a critical damage. So yeah, that's a very good skill. But you could use also the magic morph. But that's only if you have enough magical and if you don't use your other magical abilities that much, like me. So I am using the stamina one. Then Restoring Vigor for the heal, while in raids for the AoE, and also for the finishing, because for the passive that gives you 20% increased damage for the dual wield abilities for enemies against enemies with under 25% healed. Then surprise attack that gives 8,180 physical damage and apply surrendered status effect. So if you're flanking your enemy, it stuns them most of the times. It depends if they are using a potion that is preventing that you get stunned. But yeah, if everything of your gear is on yellow, then it gives 9k damage. Yeah. And then Camo Hunter for the passive. That you do 3% more damage for each fighter skill ability used or on your bar. Then for the ultimate Soul Tether, it's very good, especially if you then do sneak. You can also finish some enemies with this ultimate if they are low enough for that. Yeah. Then on my back bar, I'm using Race Against Time. When time and space around you to J Major Expedition for 4 seconds and Minor Force for 12 seconds, increase your movement speed by 30% and critical damage by 10%. So that is very, very good. And also it gives you, it removes all snares, and immobilizations from you and grants immunity to them for 2 seconds. Then Cherry Disguise for the passive, that casting a shadow ability grants you major restore for 6 seconds, increasing your physical and spell resistance by 5,948. This duration is increased by 25% for each piece of heavy armor equipped. So you could use heavy armor on this build, but I wouldn't recommend it. So yeah. Also gives you max heal and just max heal for every shadow ability used, and increase the duration of your non-invisibly based shadow abilities for 2 seconds. Yeah. Then we have Aloof. That's the skill from the medium armor one. Shroud yourself in mist to gain major devastation, reducing damage from area attacks by 20% for 38 seconds. While this effect is active, when you take damage from a direct area of attack, you gain major expedition for 6 seconds and increase movement speed by 30%. So that is very, very good. Leeching Strikes just for getting stamina back, and also imbue your weapons with soul stealing power, causing your light and heavy attacks heal you for 1400 health and restore 106 stamina for 20 seconds. Fully charged heavy attacks restore twice that value, so that is a very good skill. And then rally from the two-handed momentum morph. From the momentum skill and two-handed skill line, just a morph. Focus the strength and restore the Jane Major Vitality, sorcery, increase your weapon and spell damage by 20%, as well as Jane Major Endurance, increasing your stamina recovery by 50% for 20 seconds. You heal also for 3,690 for the heal. When rally ends, the final heal is increased by 15% every 1 second up to a maximum of 300%, so that can also heal you almost to 100% or to 100%. And then for the backbar ultimate, you could use temporary god like I am doing, or you could also use the vampire one outside, but that's up to you. Also, a very important, yeah, it's a much important passive from the assault skill line. Generate 20 ultimate when you kill an enemy player. So if you kill an enemy, you get 20 ultimate back. Yeah, but also there is a passive that gives you, I think, 20 ultimate points for drinking a potion, like you see there. Then for the champion points, I'm using fighting finesse, critical damage and critical healing done, master at arms, increase the damage done by directed damage, attacks by 2% per stage, so yeah, on 50 it's on 50 points it's 10%. Deadly aim for a single target, and waiting arrow for the violent blades. Oh, my bad. For the red one, I am using celerity for the movement speed, survival instinct, relentless, and save a suffering. And then for the green one, doesn't really matter in my opinion. I have rationer, liquid efficiency, and Steed's blessing. Yeah. Then my stats, like I have shown, I think, per second, are around 4,000 weapon spell damage and penetration on 9,000 to 12,000. So if you use all of your skills, then you have 4,700 and penetration is by 12k, and especially if you sneak them, you have 5,500 weapon spell damage. So that is very, very good. And yeah, I hope you like that build. It was my first build video, so sorry if I did something wrong. Yeah, I hope you liked it. If not, then you didn't. Yeah. If you have any suggestions for a build that is better in your opinion, then you can just say it. So, yeah, it's up to everyone what you want to use. So yeah, then have a lovely day and see you soon.